guys. So I'm waiting for the doctor to come around soon, but probably this afternoon with my results of my scan. But listen, this is a bit of information that I should be sharing, and it's about the CVC lines. So you know these lines that we have, I don't know, they call it capitalizations or whatever they call it, they say, but anyway, tunneled lines. It could be a tunneled line, it could be a PICC line, it could be a midline, any of those kind of lines. Now, I can only give you a little bit of education of what I know, and that's all based on what I know, right? And yeah. So what I was going to say was interesting is the top consultant. You know, we don't have to say names, right? We can't say names or whatever, but we all know who I'm talking about. The top man, said Mark, the top man. He came around to see me the other day. You know, I'm still at St Mark's. I'm still at Ramwood Ward, St Mark's, Central Middlesex. And he said to me, you know, because obviously my PICC line was infected, and you know it's becoming narrow. You know, I'm getting a lot of narrowing now with the PICC line, so maybe they're thinking maybe go back. You can see that my chest is full of. So I've had many tunneled lines, right? The reason why I stopped the tunneled lines is because in 2018 I became very gravely ill. And this is all because I had an infection in my tunneled line that nobody, no, those nutritionist nurses that deal with the line, you know, those nurses that deal with the line, nobody picked up on. Nobody picked up on. So he gave me an appointment in January. Then I got a letter to say it's going to be January. Then I got a letter to say it'll be done in March. So you moved it from March to June. So you've moved it. So before you know it, that 3-month appointment is turned into a goddamn year. In that year, I became septic. St Mark's Hospital. So can you imagine, and I mean I was in trouble with my health. I have recordings, I have audios, I was in trouble with my health. I'm sorry, quite frankly, the fact that I was so mentally vulnerable, as they stated themselves, I had to do these recordings on my own. Do you understand what I'm saying? If anything was going to go wrong, my people had to have that. Most of the times I was on video or talk with somebody. That's how unsafe I obviously felt. I wasn't well. But what I'm saying is, why did it have to get like that? Huh? Doctor, why did it have to get like that? And what makes it worse, we had a big meeting. Check this out. We had a huge meeting about this particular stay that could have well costed me my life. I just deteriorated rapidly. This sepsis or whatever was going on. Listen, the infection in my chest, let me tell you. They referred me to the respiratory team. They didn't take me on as their patient, because you know what they said? We're used to seeing his patients, these particular patients, meaning my kind of patients, with this pockets of infection due to these tunneled lines. That's what the respiratory team told me. So we're not going to take you as our patient because it's to do with them. That's what they told me. You didn't tell me the small print about these tunneled lines that it could do all that. You didn't tell me that. The tunneled lines are not a joke. I'm not saying this to scare anybody, okay? I'm just telling you. It's not a joke. You know, some people have tunneled lines, and I bet there's people maybe watching this thinking, oh, I don't know what she's talking about. I've never had a line infection in all 20 years. Well, that's good for you. But then you know I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that are prone to infections, man. I'm talking about the people that do have these silent bugs that don't show up in their bloods and stuff like that. I'm talking about these are beyond those specialists. Those really complex patients. I was left. He left me. You hear me? One day I was taken to one of his outpatients appointments, the clinic. I was carried in. Do you know what he said? I must have been about, listen, I was about 38 kilos. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? You know what he said to my loved ones? I've seen her look worse than that. I've seen her look by far worse than that. I've seen her look thinner than that. But you're not looking at the fact that the fat's just slipping off me. I've been carried in. And then one day, what a miracle, one day I had an appointment. And it just happened to be with this guy. I didn't know who he was. Quite frankly, I was thinking, oh God, who the hell is this? Because I really wanted to see my doctor But this was a new guy a few years ago, and I thought, oh, okay, let me see him. And I had some videos, because I was documenting all that was going on, the deterioration. And this guy looks at the video, but more to the point, he says, can I have a look at you? Right? Anyway, so he had a look at me and examined my legs and whatever. And he was saying, whatever he was saying, that medical term and language, he knew what he was talking about. And that made me excited. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but he knew what he was talking about. So when we sat down, my family and I, and he said, it was called blah, 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 and this is caused by, like when your body's fighting something and your body's eating itself. It's just eating off itself. Even the nutritionist people were saying, even when I got in, have you heard the fat capacity that was left on me? It doesn't make sense. You let that happen. You let that happen. Listen, the reason why I'm talking about this bit before I start talking about the lines is for a reason, yeah? You allowed that to happen. I begged you for help. I begged you for help. I begged. I kept coming to your A&E. Until that day came when I collapsed. I just kept having these collapses, a body just shutting down. Like organ failure, just shutting down. Until one day I collapsed, was taken to hospital, and I just remember that was the last thing. Say it was August. And then I just remember this doctor, that particular doctor I'm talking about, the nice one. I just remember him just kneeling down my bedside saying, you got to really, you got to fight, little lady. You got to fight, little lady. You got to be really unwell. You hear me? And he's the one that knew what time it was that I was poorly. Unfortunately, I don't know if it carried much weight of him, whatever he might have said to the consultant. Because even if he relayed whatever to my consultant, which obviously he would have on the appointment day, right? They never got me in a hurry. You never got me in. You didn't get me in. It's because I nearly popped down dead before you got me in. That's when you did all the scans. That's when you did even a simple x-ray. That's when you saw the pockets of infection. I swear. Golf ball sizes, you hear me? So this infection, let me tell you, God is good. Let me tell you, who don't believe, but hear what I'm saying. My lungs absorbed it all. Do you hear that? It never went round my heart and walla around my organs. My lungs absorbed it all. All the time I'm telling the doctor and all them that I'm not breathing right, no, you don't want to hear it. It's all in my head. They had all community psychiatrists and all that stuff talking to me, like I was crazy. Are you hearing me? Listen to me keenly. I'm not talking to scare you. I'm telling you some facts that I want you to understand. Take it and put it in your chink. Chink it in. Do what you need to do, but I'm telling you, my truth is also yours. You hear me? Or could well be yours. All those psychiatrists and all them people, how do you feel? You can imagine, how do they feel now? I wasn't crazy, was I? How do they feel now? How do you feel now? I could have been left home to dead. I'm not comfortable with that. So can you imagine from 2018, of course I'm going to be serious. Of course I'm going to be serious. So from 2018, that was it. It was a wrap with the tunneled lines. It was over. You hear me? Hence to why I started to go onto the the PICC lines. So now we're at a stage now, it's 2022, it's becoming narrow on this particular arm. This one's still got some lifeline. We're going to max this one out until there's no more. You hear me? St. Mark's? Because how do I trust you? What do you do when you're in a position where I can't go anywhere else? How do I trust that? Can you imagine that? It's easy for someone to say, well, you need to really think about having the Hickman line again. The problem isn't with you doing the procedure and putting it in. Oh, I have no problem with that. But how can I trust your aftercare? How can I trust when I get a line infection and get sepsis and all them fuckeries, sorry. That you're going to listen to me. That you're going to listen to me. You know a patient that doesn't present certain, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You know that I don't show certain symptoms. So that means you've got to listen to me. You've got to work with me. St. Mark's don't know me, you know. The team don't know me to be one to cry wolf. Me. Mention Kiki. Mention Kiki to them. So I'm concerned about when the day comes that I have to have a tunneled line. My veins are not going to hang out forever, but God is good for now. I'm biding my time. Because between now and that time, when it does come for that, I have to make sure they listen to me. I have to make sure I'm going to be safe. Because it's one thing putting that line in, and there's another thing. You've got so many patients, you can't get to all of us. We get that. But yet we're going to have these tunneled lines, and I can be at home with a silent infection and left to rot. You didn't even do it. No, come on, let's not go there. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Okay? Because I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to tell you this. But I'm telling you this because it's not just my story. It could well be your story or is your story. You hear me? I'm not that special that it can't be you too. I'm not saying this to grime no staff. They already know me. Mention me. They know that I love them. That I love them. The workers and all that. Obviously a few. But they know me. I don't play with my health. You have to keep me in loop, because I will bully my way in. You have to keep me in loop. So the Hickman line, and you know what's do you know what I find disturbing, which is shocking? Do you know until 2018, I was having Hickman lines. I was septic all the time. Just going, changing, just all these scars. Do you know? No one ever told me about a midline. No one ever told me about a line service people like those teams. No one didn't tell me about the PICC line. Can you imagine that? Now, can you imagine you've got a patient, 17 years? Can you imagine that you've got a patient?
Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah.